why do you take a baseball bat and hit this customer on the head as hard as you can when they walk through the door?
Bună ziua! Sunt Raluca Simon, iar acesta este Atelierul de Afaceri, emisiunea care vă oferă uneltele și cunoștințele de care aveți nevoie pentru a vă meșteri o afacere de milioane. Puteți avea cea mai bună campanie de publicitate, cel mai eficient marketing și cele mai noi tehnologii, dar acestea nu vă vor face clienții să cumpere mai mult sau mai des dacă nu le oferiți și o experiență extraordinară în relațiile cu ei. Aceasta este învățătura de căpătâi a lui John Tschohl, specialist cu recunoastere internațională în domeniul relațiilor cu clienții. Am stat de vorbă cu domnul Tschohl, care ne-a divulgat câteva dintre secretele relațiilor cu clienții și ne-a spus cum ne putem dezvolta afacerea la un nivel nebănuit doar prin faptul că ne tratăm fiecare client ca și cum ar fi cel mai important. Aflăm din discuția cu John Tschohl și cât de important este să ne instruim angajații și să-i motivăm, astfel încât ei să își respecte clienții care le asigură câștigurile.
Well, I started in the training business in 1970, and I created my own company in 1972, and we renamed it, started with John Tschohl Associates, then in 1980. Or really in 1979, I saw the level of customer service in the U.S. pretty poor. And I saw companies spending a fortune on marketing and advertising, trying to bring people to their place of business. And I said, this is stupid. I said, why do you take a baseball bat and hit this customer on the head as hard as you can when they walk through the door? So I decided to write a program that would teach people the art of customer service, so that, because it was my belief that the reason customer service was poor is that nobody trained and developed their staff. So in January of 1980, I released the world's first customer service training program. Today I've got over 30 different programs in a variety of different languages, from Romanian to Chinese to Russian to Arabic. And we have this whole series of products that companies can use to take their workforce to a higher level. The first program I ever developed was called Feelings, and that is in Romanian. And we do really 6 things that we teach people. Number 1 is we teach people how to feel good about yourself. See, if you want high-performing employees, you got to help them believe in themselves, see themselves as they can be, not as they are today. And one of the obstacles that we face is some people think they were born on the wrong side of the tracks. People don't dream. They read the newspaper too much. They see a lot of negative stuff. Right now with the economy, there's a possibility that people get depressed because they listen to the news media instead of believing in themselves. Secondly, we teach people the habits of courtesy, how to be nice to people. And we might think all of that is just common sense, but you got to have, it doesn't take any longer to be nice to somebody than to be indifferent. And then the third is we teach people the positive communication skills, the smiling, using a person's name, recognizing people. And then the fourth is that we teach people how to listen, how to really tune in. One of my most frustrating things, you call a company and you give them your name, and a couple minutes later they say, oh, what was your name? The most customer service driven people are really tuning into the customer, listening to what they're asking for. And then you got to perform. So you could be the nicest person in Romania, but if you don't deliver what you said you're going to do, you got bad customer service. And then the 6th thing is you got to learn about your products. I believe that if you want high-performing employees, you got to educate them, train them, give them the tools. And most people don't know they're in the service business. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd rate it a 10. I'm so biased on this thing. See, you can have all the advertising, all of the marketing, you can have the greatest products in the world, but when they walk through your phone, they walk through the internet to get to your company, they are in person. What's the customer experience like? And if it's not awesome, you're not going to keep the customers. If you really are good at customer service, you make a lot of money. See, there's 2 ways to grow the business. You go to your local advertising agency with $1 million US, and just say, I want to do a lot, and assuming that you have a lot of extra cash around right now, okay? And you say, I want to create this huge marketing campaign. The second method is maybe you use very small amounts of money, and you train your staff on the art of service so that they wow the customer on every transaction. And then what you create is what I call word-of-mouth advertising. So advertising only brings the customer in the door. It's the customer experience then that will get them to do two things: return and to tell their friends about what you do. You need to train everybody on the skills and the art of customer service. When you provide awesome customer service, you end up making more money. And the question here in Romania is, are there organizations that need to grow? Are you happy and content with the revenue that you're getting now? If you need more revenue, then customer service should be the fundamental approach. Be honest with them. I think the worst thing to do is to lie. So whether that's a valuable customer or invaluable customer, if you are not able to do something, just tell the truth. People can understand the truth. But you got to treat everybody like kings and queens. And don't lie. Your word is your bond. Employees are the easiest people to change in a company. I think there's 5 things that in the design that are critical if you want to get inside the head of the employee. And executives and training people don't like these 5 things. But I think without them, it's not going to work. So let's say that I got 100 employees or 1,000 employees, whatever, and I want to change behaviors and attitudes. Maybe out of that 100, there's 20 that desperately need what I have. So there's 5 design characteristics. Number 1, make the product fun, exciting, and interesting. Executives like things that are dry, dull, boring. Okay? The more technical, the better. Employees fall asleep. You got 3 seconds with a customer. Within 3 seconds, maybe at the outside 5 seconds, the customer knows whether they're loved or whether they're a pain in the butt, and the employee just wants to get rid of them. I'll give you an example. I was flying on Monday morning very early. Went into the first class line at Continental Airlines in Minneapolis. And the ticket counter person, I mean, I just knew I was going downhill very fast, very robotic. You know, I had to haul more boxes in out of the car. This is first class line. And I said, can you, you know, here's my passport and my Platinum Elite card. Can you put this through and get my ticket ready? She said, no, you have to do it yourself. Number 2, you got to hammer away at basics and fundamentals, basics and fundamentals. Your favorite soccer team here in Romania, on every game that they win, the reason they won is because they had better execution of the basics and fundamentals than the competition. Well, if you want high-performing employees, you got to teach them the fundamentals. And those soccer players don't take a lesson once every 10 years for 1 hour. Every day they practice, and they practice the fundamentals. Well, the same thing is true of employees. You got to teach them the fundamentals over and over and over. You got to say it differently so they get it internalized, because you got seconds with the customer, and that customer can tell whether you really want them or whether you just soon get rid of them. Third thing you got to do if you really want to have a change in attitudes and you want to teach people the art of service is you got to have real high quality packaging. So the material that you give the employee when you're doing the training has to look gorgeous. It has to be very attractive. I believe if you give people material that looks like trash, they perceive it as trash. And here's the problem. Companies don't care about results. It's all they want to do is say, I did something. Well, if you want results, you got to use tools that work. And the 4th thing that you got to have is what I call experiential learning. That means 80% of the training time is group discussion, group interaction. And then the 5th thing is you got to focus on building people from within. You got to uplift their spirit, uplift their self-image. First of all, believe in yourself. There is nothing that prevents everybody watching this video from reaching their dreams except yourself. It's all self-imposed limitations. There's a lot of people that are going to push you down, okay? And you got to be pushing yourself up. You got to do what you want to do, and then you got to believe in yourself, and then you got to have a game plan. You got to have a business plan. You got to have very clearly defined goals, and then work that plan. If you do that, there is nothing preventing you from being more successful. Nothing.